You know what's difficult?
Oh, this is difficult.
Producing commentary in your essays. You know what's even harder? Writing commentary for poetry essays.
I don't give a crap!
It's important that you do this so you can score well on whatever poetry essays you write throughout high school and college. And fortunately for you, I have some tips and templates and examples that will make this difficult task significantly easier. If you didn't know, I'm Tim Freitas from the Garden of English. Before I fully get into the video, I'd like to give a shout out to Ms. Jackson and her AP Lit students at San Marcos High School. You have a wonderful teacher, so make sure that you cherish your time with her. Now this video is part of a larger poetry series where I've gone over everything you need to know in relation to writing essays about poetry. Throughout this series, I've been using a prompt about the poem Ozymandias. If you want access to the prompt, poem, and all of the other support materials and examples, you can find it in the description right below this video. Right down there by the like button and the subscribe button, and yeah, go ahead and smite those buttons. Also, for you AP Lit teachers, in the description, you'll find a link to check out the Garden of English's Lit support materials. This resource includes digital and print YouTube video notes guides, unit exams aligned with the AP Lit CED, practice tests, novel-based and specialty prompts, and a bunch more. You can also check this whole thing out by clicking right up here. In my last video, I discussed how to integrate evidence into a body paragraph. So today we're going to complete that body paragraph. Before I construct the commentary though, I'm going to remind you of what we've completed in this body paragraph so far. It's about to pop up on your screen. Now this topic sentence and evidence integration is solid. I mean, it really kicks, but there's no way you're going to earn your highest marks if you just leave it here. So to create your strongest commentary, you now need to explain how your evidence relates to the claim in your topic sentence. This means that if you were going to attempt commentary yourself, you would need to explain how your integrated textual evidence about the frame narrative and the caesura symbolizes the shattered state of the monument and the break in time from its inception to the traveler's viewing of it. Yikes! That's a complex task. But I'm about to put a commentary template up on your screen that takes this complex task and makes it significantly more manageable. The template I'm about to show you will force you to provide at least 3 sentences of focused and consistent commentary, which I can guarantee is more than most students write on their AP exams.
I guarantee.
Just ask any of your AP Lit teachers who are readers. I bet they'll concur.
Do you concur? Why don't I concur?
Why don't I let you see the template itself and then I'll explain it. Here it is. You start your first sentence of commentary by paraphrasing the first bit of textual evidence that you're going to use to prove the claim of your topic sentence. Many students often just say, "this evidence." But if you actually articulate what this evidence means and where it is in your text, it'll be easier to provide commentary. I've noticed that it's easier to start this sentence with an ing verb like describing, mentioning, or something else that depicts what the author's doing in the evidence. So if I were to fill in the first part of this template for my body paragraph, it would look like this. Constructing a frame narrative in and of itself. Notice how I want to focus on the frame narrative in my commentary, so I mention it here. And I say that Bish constructs one in the lines of textual evidence that I've already included in my body paragraph. Now, in the second part of my first commentary sentence, I have to connect this evidence to the claim of my topic sentence. So, I'm going to choose one of the verbs offered to me, and then I'm going to connect it to the part of my topic sentence that the frame narrative proves. In this case, it's the shattered state of the statue. So here's what my first commentary sentence would look like if I added the second movement in the template. Constructing a frame narrative in and of itself highlights the fractured state of the statue. Now, many students just stop their commentary here with a claim like this. But that is where they make their biggest mistake. Stopping here will typically only allow you to score a 2 in row B of the poetry commentary rubric. So I'm going to add the word because at the end of this sentence, since it will force me to attempt to articulate my logical reasoning. Honestly, folks, those of you who struggle with scoring well probably just need to add the word because in your first sentence of commentary to project your critical thought more accurately. So here's how my whole first sentence would read once I add the word because. Constructing a frame narrative in and of itself highlights the fractured state of the statue because there is a conspicuous separation between the 2 main individuals telling the stories as they reflect on the broken form. And there you have it, commentary. Now, this isn't in depth, and we still haven't talked about how the evidence symbolizes the break in time between the statue's inception and the traveler's viewing. But just doing what we did has begun to move you from the 2 in row B of the AP Lit question 1 rubric towards a 3. But let's not settle for that.
That That's not good enough.
Now that I've completed my first sentence of commentary, I'm going to move on to my second sentence by starting it with the phrase, consequently, since. Doing so will force me to think of a greater connection or outcome, or consequence, of my prior observation. And here is what my observation is that connects the frame narrative to representing the break in time from the present to the past. It reads like this. Consequently, since the shifting narrative form takes the view away from the original speaker and projects it onto an unknown passerby, the traveler moves the plot into the past, separating both himself and the initial speaker from the present. Now, I'm not done even though I've completed my second sentence of commentary.
Nope.
I still haven't connected the frame narrative to the caesura that I also mentioned in my topic sentence and I included in my textual evidence. So now I'm going to add a third sentence of commentary that includes the caesura and logically links it to the function of the narrative. I'm going to choose to start my third sentence with the word thus to suggest a logical connection that I'm trying to articulate. I'm also going to make sure to include the phrase due to the fact that in this sentence because that phrase also forces me to articulate my reasoning. So doing so would allow my third sentence of commentary to read like this. Thus, when this temporal transition is paired with multiple examples of caesura, conspicuous divisions further represent the decrepit state of the monument due to the fact that the broken lines can still convey the perceived observations of the narrator, much like the statue can still convey the perceived past might of the ruler, though millennia have passed. Now, I could be done here and the commentary would be pretty solid, especially on exam day. But I don't have to stop here if I don't want to. As long as I continue to use cause and effect language that I've already shown you in my templates and transitional words and phrases like furthermore, however, therefore, and in addition to, I can move on. So I think I'd like to flesh out the logical correlation between my evidence and the topic sentence claims just a little bit more by adding more sentences. The sentences that I would add to this in my commentary would read like this. Furthermore, the greater pauses that both the initial speaker and secondary speaker generate work to highlight the passing of time, the same history that separates the secondary speaker from not only his observation, but the ancient pharaoh himself. Therefore, the visual interruption of the pauses turn the lines into fragmented parts, providing a comparative sensual experience to that of the image being described by the unnamed narrator. Now that's commentary.
Yep.
In fact, read the whole paragraph all together and you can look on the mighty work. It's right here. Fortunately, this type of commentary is nothing we'd have to look on and despair, because it rocks. And you can use these same commentary stems for each of your body paragraphs in your poetry essay. Now, you may be worried that these commentary stems might get a little bit too repetitive if you use them in every body paragraph. But they won't. You'll include so much of your own reasoning and thought between your becauses and therefores and consequentlys that your readers will hardly notice.
You didn't see anything.
Instead, they'll just think you're amazing and award you a higher score on that essay. And that's what you want to use to provide commentary in your poetry responses. That wasn't so bad, was it? Now, you need to go and practice doing this with all of your body paragraphs. But when you're ready to move on, you'll want to check out the video that's about to pop up on your screen so you can learn how to write conclusions for your poetry essays.